welcome or welcome back to my channel, Being Louisa. Today's video is going to be part 1 of my first year of midwifery Q&A, and I'm going to be answering all of your comments from YouTube on that video I posted, which was like updates and Q&A announcements. So here we go. I've written them down here, the order I want to do it on, but then I've got my laptop with all the questions. So if I look down, that's why. The first question was, how come you took a gap year and not do midwifery straight from A-levels? Well, midwifery wasn't my plan, so I couldn't really do it straight from A-levels, especially since during GCSEs, when you had to pick your A-levels, I was being rebellious, and so I was like, I'm doing A-levels that I just want to do, that are fun, that seem really interesting and cool to me. So I chose dance, photography, sociology, and business studies. They didn't really seem to go together. Like, everyone kept saying to me that doesn't make sense, but to me it did. So sociology, because I love that type of thing. I always wanted to know, like, how comes I act the way I act and I speak the way I speak when everyone else in my close proximity doesn't speak the way I do. That was something that really intrigued me, and then I was like, well, why do people act the way they act? Like, how does society and how does the world and how does everyone's like viewpoint work into that? So that's why I chose sociology. Photography I chose because I love taking pictures, and at that time I wanted to be a photographer. That also leads into business studies. I chose business studies because I wanted to run my own photography business, and then dance was just my release. So that's why I chose that, and that's why I couldn't do midwifery straight away, because 1, those are not A-levels that will get you into midwifery, and 2, I did not get good grades. I've always kind of known I had dyslexia. It wasn't until I came to uni that was finally confirmed, but every place I went, secondary school, I wasn't dyslexic enough to get a test, so they didn't want to waste their money. Sixth form, I wasn't dyslexic enough, but I did get like a little bit of help in the sense of I got like blue overlays and stuff for free. College, when I went to do my access course, again, I was borderline dyslexic. It would take 2 years. My course was 9 months, mate. So I did not do great in my A-levels. The practical stuff was fine. It just didn't work out for me. I did not get good grades in A-levels, hence why I couldn't even like transfer that over. Plus, it wasn't even on my plan. Midwifery was not on my radar. Like, God told me in December, like, mate, you start uni in September. So yeah. Phoebe asks, what's my favorite food to cook at uni? My favorite food was a chicken pot pie, because it's super simple to make, so easy. I love Pinterest, because Pinterest gives you so many like recipe ideas. So yeah, a chicken pot pie, super simple, super easy. It's great because if you're making it at night and you want to invite some friends over, there's your dinner for that night, and your friends can eat. Like, say you have 2 other friends or 3 other friends eating out of it, you guys can all eat, and then you still have food left over for tomorrow for placement or for like lunch or something, which was what I loved the most about it. If you didn't invite people over, you'll still have at least 4 meals. Well, I had 3 containers out of it, and then 1 meal that night that I cooked it. So that was like my favorite thing, because I made it in my cast iron pan, so it was pretty big, and it's great to eat on placement as well, because it smells good and it fills you up, but it's not too much. And yeah. So Sophie asks, what's the best books to read during your gap year? So I didn't really take an intentional gap year. I didn't read up on midwifery that much, I'm not gonna lie to you, hence why I started my YouTube channel, I guess, because I want other people to have more of information base than I had. My gap year I literally spent working full-time, so I didn't really have time to read up on stuff. But I would say, actually, let me combine this one with the next question. The next question was by Phoebe again, best books / textbooks you've read in first year. So these kind of go together because I've read these books during first year. So the best books I've read so far, and I would suggest you read before coming if you can, if you have time, was Ina May Gaskin's Spiritual Midwifery. I really love that book because it kind of gives you a more holistic, like in the sense of more natural way of doing stuff. It's less medicalized and more, you know, more about the women, more about the body. I'm not too into the whole energy transference thing. I don't quite get that. And she calls the perineum the taunt or something. I don't quite like that either. But otherwise, it's really good, and I like how connected they are and how connected to their partners they are, and how they use natural ways of releasing oxytocin and all that stuff to get labor going and to help with labor. So I really like the way that they talk about that. I haven't really read that many books, to be honest with you, and the best textbook that I've read this year was, I have 3. Well, it depends. So the Maze and Miles, everyone knows about. Choose which one you prefer the look of the most. And then there is, I think it's Jean Radkin, Physiology in Childbearing, Anatomy and Physiology, something like that. That's a really good book. I like that book for most of my assignments. I really like that book. Hannah asks, do a lot of people get into midwifery without getting the grades required? I.e. a lot of uni she's looked at asks for ABB. She's read that a lot of people get in with BBC or CCB. So yeah, a lot of people do get in without getting the exact grade requirements, especially since applications have gone down, so the universities need to fill their quota and their spaces. So yes, you can get in without getting the exact grade requirements. I did an access course. I worked with distinctions and merits, and my university, Kingston University, wanted 33 distinctions, I believe, and however many, and the rest merit. I got 28 distinctions and the rest merit, so I didn't quite meet the mark. I was 5 distinctions down, but because of my interview and my test score, and then plus because they probably hadn't met their quota of students, that's why I got into university, which is awesome. So Bulletproof 2 Moons asks, how would you say first years compared to A-levels? Because my A-levels, as I've explained, were completely and utterly different, not midwifery based, no science-based stuff, I couldn't tell you. It doesn't really compare equally. Like, if I had to compare it to that, I would say midwifery first year is harder than A-levels. However, compared to my access course, which I did in 1 year, well, 1 school year, so 9 months, I would say the access course was way harder than first year, just because I felt like I had an assignment during every 4 weeks roughly. That's what I felt like. So I was stressed out so much. So I would say A-levels to first year midwifery, first year midwifery is harder. Access course to first year midwifery, access course is harder than first year midwifery, I think, just towards like the assessments and stuff, because obviously when you're in first year midwifery you do practical stuff and you actually go on placement, and that is so hard, girl. Like, that's so hard. This is a good one. They also asked, was it weird going back to lectures after being in placement? Yes, it's so weird doing that. Like, it was funny because the first 2 months of uni I didn't mind uni at all. Lectures weren't that bad. It was sitting in a room having someone talk at you for like hours. You know, it's not the funnest of things, but it wasn't terrible. However, then going into placement for like, our first placement block was so long, so we had about a month and a bit, then we had study leave for 1 week, 2 weeks off for Christmas, then we went back to placement for 3 weeks, and then we went back to uni. Oh my gosh, that was a culture shock, I think, going back to uni, because we've gone from being totally independent, working full-time, to then going back to uni. It was weird, but I guess you get used to it. But then uni kind of gets a bit more boring once you've been on placement. You're like, oh, why am I at uni? I could be at placement helping women or helping families or learning stuff. So yeah. They also asked, what is the social life like at uni, especially with non-midwifery students? I'm not the most social person, I guess, like in the sense of putting myself out there and like going to other flats and socializing with people, because my flat was mostly midwifery students, so unfortunately I didn't get that luxury of having someone live there and like, me get to know them that way. But other people who had other students that weren't midwives in their flats, they went out loads, they got on really well. Some of them were really close friends, a lot of them were really close friends. So it just depends on who you are and if you're lucky enough to have non-midwifery students there. So Jane asked, what was one thing you found difficult about first year? Night shifts. Oh my lord, I do not like night shifts. 1 night shift is fine. It's when you go into like the 2 night shifts / 3 night shifts in a row, that's when stuff for me hits the fan. It is horrible. I like literally am like dead for the next 5 days. The worst I think I did was 2 night shifts, then I had like the day off, and then I did another night shift. And for me, the reason why it's so hard is because I can't sleep after a night shift. I wake up at 12. It's always at 12. So it just depends on what time I actually went to sleep. But it's always at 12 or 11 I woke up, and I was awake for the rest of the day. So I couldn't function, because then I was having 3-ish hours sleep, let's say, and then I was having to go and do a 12.5-hour shift that next night. I was running on nothing, barely eating as well. It wasn't good. Do you have time to socialize during the course? Yes, you do. You do have time. Okay, yeah, this kind of goes with the next question, because the next question was, someone asked, can you have a part-time job as well as having the course? So these two kind of go together in the sense of, yes, you can socialize in the course because you have loads of time off when you're on placement, because you are working either 3 or 4 days a week, so you have the rest of the week off, right? So you have loads of time to socialize or do something else. So you're like, yeah, you can have a part-time job. However, do you really want to have a part-time job? Like, that's the tier. That's what you kind of got to think. Yes, you can have a part-time job, and yes, you can socialize, but can you do them both together? Not really. It just depends on what you want to focus on. Having a part-time job, yeah, it's good to make some money, it just depends on you, really. But you can have a part-time job, especially if it's only 1 day a week. I just wouldn't necessarily suggest it for a while, just so you can get used to being at uni, being on placement, and all that stuff, and like how your assignments are going to go down and all that. So I wouldn't suggest it, but if you can do it, then do it, because a lot of people in my course do it. So it just depends on who you are and how you handle stress and stuff like that. And last but not least, oh my gosh guys, this is 20 minutes already. You guys probably aren't going to do all this, but it's 20 minutes already. But anyway, last but not least is my favorite question that I got asked on YouTube, and it was, do you have an area of midwifery that you'd like to work in when you're qualified, or would you like to specialize? So I don't want to specialize. I feel like when you specialize, you streamline the clientele, the people that you can see, and I don't really like that. I want to help as many people as I can. I want to be there for as many people as I can, so I don't really want to specialize. A lot of people I talk to, or a lot of people in my course, they're like, yeah, I want to specialize, or yeah, I want to like go up to this point, and I'm like, I don't really want to. And I know career progression is normal, a lot of people want to do that, like that's just like the thing to do in this society. You get more money, you get more blah blah blah. However, in midwifery, as I've seen, the more you specialize, or the more you go up in the career ladder, the less practical work you do. So the less actual midwifery you do. It's more office work and paperwork and stuff like that, and more stress. Yeah, you get more money, but is more money really worth losing the whole reason that you did this course and you're doing this career? Like, I don't know. For me, it's not. I don't want to go high up. I just want to stay where I am, in the sense of I want to be a really good midwife. I really do. I want to be a midwife who helps her women, who are there for her women. So I don't really want to then all of a sudden drop off the face of the earth because I'm always in the office, or always in meetings, or always in doing budget, and like, no, that's just not for me. So yeah, is there an area I want to work in? Yes, there is. I've said it multiple times. Community. When I'm living in England, community is really what I want to do, or continuity. It's really hard to find continuity caseload based teams in London anyway. However, they are trying to bring that in, but I don't plan to live in England for the rest of my life. So yeah, whilst I'm here, I'm probably not going to get to do my dream job, which would be caseloading slash, you know, continuity based community stuff, because I only plan to be here about 2 to 3 years after I qualify. So I probably won't do what I want to do. However, when I move to the country that I want to move to, I will be doing that. We'll see, but I definitely do want to work in community. I love home visits. They're my favorite thing in the whole entire world, and I love just knowing women and getting them to build that bond. That's really fun and special. So yeah, that is the questions for YouTube. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Until tomorrow, keep on being you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below with any questions or suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe to get weekly updates. Bye y'all.